Okay, all set.
We're ready to go?
You're ready.
So we're live now on YouTube.
Yep,
So
you
good
betcha.
evening, everyone. I'm glad to see you here tonight. I'm pleased to have company on tonight's Q&A. Councillor Bill Hamilton is our co-host this evening, and I'm looking forward to spending the next hour or two with him and all of you to hear your thoughts, gather your feedback on the city's various initiatives, and answer some questions. There's a lot going on at the city this spring, so we have many updates to share with you tonight. To get us started, I'll hand things over to Councillor Hamilton. Take it away, Bill.
Thanks, Mayor Young. I'm going to call you Bob as the evening goes on because we're friendly that way. And thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate this opportunity. And yeah, there's a number of things to speak about. I thought I'd just firstly acknowledge that COVID is still clear and present in our community, and certainly our case count is still a concern. So we, although our numbers, you know, are marginally moving down, we still have suffered deaths in the community, and I think it's important to acknowledge that COVID is real, and the city acknowledges that, and we're working hard to try to find supports for people and encourage people to practice safe manner of going about your business here. I'm excited about this. I've got an opportunity to talk about a number of different projects. I'll jump right in. One of them that came to council recently, and certainly Councillor Finstad was excited about this one, and I know in May he'll probably want to talk about it as well during his Q&A, but the Clean Energy Initiative is an opportunity where the city can provide an opportunity for residents and homeowners to basically tap into energy efficient upgrades to their home, and then do it in such a way that the funding is spread out like a local improvement, where the financing kind of comes through the city. The costs are tacked onto the tax roll and spread out over a number of years, so that let's suppose you wanted to install a number of large you know, energy efficient upgrades to your home, and yet you don't know how long you're going to be there. Now is an opportunity where you can put them in. You take advantage of them now, you pay for them now, and they stay with the home. And on the sale of the home, then they become a local improvement to the next owner. So that's something that we've been looking at. We've passed the initial bylaw. There is some cost to the program, not to the community, but to the administration of the program. And so we've been able to apply for a grant through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM. And if we're successful in getting that grant, then we imagine the program will roll out probably in the late this year or early next year, and homeowners would have an opportunity to find out the details about that. So there's certainly more information on our website about that if you're interested. It's something that I think you know, would be a benefit to certainly individuals and to the community as a whole, as we all try to be a little more energy efficient in our uses of our home with furnaces and air conditioners and better windows and doors and all that sort of stuff. COVID, as I mentioned earlier, the COVID response and provincial matters, that's an ever-evolving challenge. And I know that certainly our administration are in constant contact with AHS and with the province. I know that Mayor Young deals with that on a regular basis. Our local restaurants and stores are trying to keep up with the ever-changing situations, but we're still in step one of the province's path forward, which means eating establishments are available for curbside pickup, as we all know. And many are trying to now, with better weather, roll out a patio program. And so I know that Mayor Young's going to get a chance to speak about the patio program and how we're helping support that a little bit later on. But pickup and delivery is still available from restaurants. There's no indoor dining. And so that's obviously a challenge. Retail businesses are operating at 15% of their fire code. So that really limits the number of clients they can allow into their establishment at any time. And I know many of them are still asking for names and numbers. And I think it's important as we go into those businesses to be respectful of their space and be patient with them, and to provide our information. If close contacts are needed later, we'll be contacted, and we'll be thankful that we give up our names and numbers to the stores that did ask for it. So I think that's important. Non-essential travel isn't recommended within the province or other provinces, and certainly if you're watching the news, you'll know that many provinces have very strict regulations. So it's important to look into your travel plans before you leave Alberta. And outdoor gatherings are still limited to 10 people for outdoor gatherings, distance by 2 meters or 6 feet. So really the message is stay home if you're not feeling well, and when you go out, you know, pay attention to the ever-changing rules and try to be respectful of the places that you're going. The AstraZeneca vaccine is now widely available to anyone in the province ages 40 and up. So, and we're in phase 2C of the vaccine rollout, phase 2D expected sometime in May. I know I got my shot. I think Mayor Young's had his shot. So we're both halfway there. We need our second shots, but we're excited to get them. So when you have your opportunity, roll up your sleeve and get a shot. May is a month when we do a budget survey. We didn't get to do it in 2020 because of COVID, but in May, next month, we're going to be basically doing the city's annual budget planning survey. So there's an opportunity for residents to weigh in on how the city allocates its funding. And this is a great opportunity for council, when we get those results, to really see what people think is important. You know, we run about $100 million budget for operating, a little less, and you know, $25 or $30 million in capital expenditures each year. So it's a big business. This is a serious operation, and it has to run like a business. And certainly our admin treat those dollars like they're their own, and council are respectful of where we get our money from, majority from tax funding and from utility services. So it's important for residents to take every opportunity they can to share their views with us. And certainly we're an open group. We're happy to hear from you on phone or email anytime. Opportunities like this, and more broadly, this particular budget survey that we'll roll out. So if you've got ideas about family and community support services, programs that could be offered, fire and ambulance services, police enforcement services, if you've heard something in the community that you think is important and you're wondering about it, get into the survey, answer the questions that are available to you there. And then if it spawns other ideas, find another way to connect with us. We're happy to hear from you, and we'd like your input, certainly. More information is available on the city's website. It's a great site. I go there all the time. So I know most of the councillors do too, because admin get tired of us asking questions, and they've already put the answers on the website. So go there and check it out. The survey is going to be open from May 1st to the 31st, and an independent contractor will also be conducting phone surveys. So if you get a call, that likely is, it's not a scam. It's a legitimate. The contractor reaches out in different ways. So the survey online is one way, and phone calls are another. So you can visit leduc.ca/budget. Okay, last thing I'm going to touch on before I turn things over to Bob is an update on the Leduc Sports Hall of Fame. So this is, we're looking for nominations. So if you know somebody who's had an active life in sports and made a contribution here in the community, we would encourage you to put their name forward or to tell us about them and let us look into it. We're looking for both athletes. We're looking for builders, people that were active in the sports and the organization, coaching and training and that sort of thing. And this is a great opportunity to honor our citizens. Many people, contribute in so many ways, and this is one way that we can really bring forward nominations that are of people that have really made a difference in our community, and maybe made a difference in the lives of youth or in your life at some point. So feel free to take a look at that. Again, visit our website for information on that. We're hoping that we'll be able to have a gala in the fall where we celebrate those nominees and the inductee. But if we can't, we'll certainly have a virtual celebration of some kind. And we still want to acknowledge these people. So during May, if you've got an idea of someone that deserves recognition, please send it forward to us. So with that, I'm going to happily turn things back over to Mayor Bob, who's got some stuff to share with us as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Hamilton. So really happy to say that on our April 12th meeting that council waived the development and permit fees to open up our patios. We know that very disappointing that we had to go back into step one, with the current COVID conditions. And so our council is really working hard to make sure that we can help out the restaurants and small businesses as much as we can. And so one of the ways that we're doing that is by making it really easy to get a outdoor patio. So far, as of Friday, the city has issued 5 patio approvals. It's really easy. All you have to do is contact our city planning department, and what will happen is we'll send somebody out to speak directly with your business. And interestingly enough, again, the majority of patios are located in our downtown area, but there's also going to be some patios opening up in some of the residential areas. So interesting, I always say we should never waste a good pandemic. And I think that this is an opportunity that going forward, that we might be able to see permanent residential patios opening up in your community, or in your neighborhood. So this very interesting to see this move forward. And what we're finding is that we're usually able to send somebody out the same day that any business makes an application. So it's a priority for us to get this going as quickly as possible. And so it's all you have to do is apply. The other thing that happened is at our council meeting last night, we were really happy to welcome Tyler Smith at our council meeting. He was there to highlight the importance of talking about mental health and our emotions, because bottling them up is not the way to make them go away. So Tyler's story and his Not Alone, It's Okay to Not Be Okay initiative encourages people, especially men, to open up about their emotions to protect their mental health and well-being. Good mental health is not about being happy all the time. In fact, a mentally healthy life includes a full range of human emotions, even the uncomfortable ones like sadness, fear, and anger. The ongoing pandemic, along with any personal experiences of trauma and loss, has a compounding effect on our mental health. So please know you're not alone, and we're here to help. And so residents, if you're looking for any help, you can contact our FCSS at 780-980-7109, or visit our website at leduc.ca/FCSS, or for 24/7 support, you can dial or text 211. Another interesting news from council is that on our April 19th meeting, we decided to discontinue our automatic traffic enforcement photo radar. And, we know that it is not a very popular program. When it's used properly, it is an effective tool, but our council just feels that there's not enough. Well, I think it'll be better to have boots on the streets and a car out there turning. People know that when they see a flashing red and blue lights, that it's they better make sure they're going the correct speed. And so it doesn't mean we're not going to enforce traffic safety, because again, community safety and making sure that people are going the correct speed through our residential and through our school zones is still a high priority. Just means that instead of using photo radar, that we're going to have someone there enforcing it in person. And we think that we can be just as effective. And the nice thing about having people enforcing it in person is that you get immediate feedback. And we know photo radar, it does work, but you don't realize that if you do go above the speed limit, that you won't even realize it until you get the notice in the mail. So we think the in-person enforcement will be more effective. Also want to bring you some update about our Telford Muse construction project. So we're really excited, and I probably think that most people have seen the new building that's going up right across from the hospital. It's interesting enough, it's one of the first 6-story wood buildings in all of Alberta being constructed. And so, there's lots of interest around the province to see how this works out. And this property is going to be a seniors or retirement living, independent living development. It'll be managed and marketed by Christensen Communities. It's being built by Fillmore Construction, and they will also be an owner. The facility is expected to open in February 2022. It will feature 133 suites with full kitchens, an in-suite laundry and air conditioning. And other amenities will include family social rooms, a spa exercise area, a business center, and a number of various special purpose rooms. There will also be an on-site restaurant that will be open to the general public. So I thought this was really interesting, is that basically we're adding another restaurant in a residential community. But the interesting thing there is it'll be open to the public, but also the people living in there, they'll be able to take advantage of it as well. So I Again, I'm not an expert on seniors or retirement homes, but this seems pretty innovative to me. The last thing I'll update on right now is our Habitat for Humanity project. So what's happened is we're very proud to announce that we've partnered with Habitat for Humanity, Qualico, and Pacesetter Homes to provide affordable home ownership for families in Leduc. So this summer, there will be 4 homes built in Leduc's Meadowview community. Habitat from Humanity anticipates families will move in by the end of the year. And so again, to learn more about this project, you can tune in to our online council meeting at 5 p.m. on May 17th, as we will have representatives from Habitat for Humanity providing updates. So we have several more of these live Q&A scheduled over the next few months. So I hope you will join me again on May 27th, when I'll be joined by Councillor Glenn Finstead to host the next live stream event. And so now we'll open the floor to any of your questions. So you can let us know if there's anything that you'd like an update on. And if we don't have an answer for you tonight, what will happen is we'll get the information and we make sure we post it, or we'll get right back to you directly.
I'm just going to jump in quickly, Bob, because I appreciate hearing your perspective on things. And before Natalie starts shooting questions our way, I thought, this has just been a great term, and this opportunity is really wonderful, where we get a chance to connect with people. But I think you've built a really good team over the past 4 years, and I appreciate being involved in it. My portfolio sort of covers is very, very diverse. I'm on the Wastewater Commission, I'm on the Chamber of Commerce Board, I'm on the FCSS Board, and I'm on the Luke Foundation. And in all those cases, there's always something that we're doing. We're working on all those areas on a regional basis with our regional partners. We're working on a local basis with things like the Housing Foundation and Habitat for Humanity, the Chamber of Commerce, and all these small business initiatives that we're trying to roll out. Certainly wastewater and our infrastructure and our partnerships through the region. So it's interesting being on council and these other commissions and subcommittees, and how it all ties together, that we're all sort of working hard to try to grow the community and improve things. And it's just wonderful to see these different sort of initiatives that we're rolling out. So I'm pretty pumped about it sometimes.
And it's good to hear, because again, when Bill and myself, when we ran this last term, nobody told us that they were going to throw a pandemic at us. And and so that's one thing I'm really proud of our council, is that the steps and measures that we've taken to deal with everything that we've had to deal with and get through a pandemic. I'm very proud of everything that we've done, and we've been able to do this, and without reducing services, without massive layoffs, and also having a 0% tax increase. So we just passed last Monday another 0 for this year, and I think there's a good chance that the following year that we'll be able to hit a 0 as well. So we know that right now, that it's tough out there for a lot of people, and but I am an optimist, and I really do believe that the last quarter of this year that we're going to see a mini boom, and we're going to see things turn around. And the way the vaccines are rolling out right now, it's going to really impact and hopefully get us back to a way more open community than we have been for the last year.
Yeah. Well, and just to cap it off, talk about the team in the pandemic. Certainly, we brought on a new CAO for the community in this past term too. So he's come in under pandemic conditions, and certainly leading a strong admin team. They, we have been working hand in glove. I don't know what the term is, but we've been working closely with admin. They haven't, as Mayor Bob throws out a challenge, or council throws out a challenge for what we think we need to do in the community. Admin has been there trying to find a way, and certainly one of our planners, comes in with a statement, get to yes, and the term get to yes, meaning let's not say no at the front line. Let's find a way to say yes when a project is presented or an initiative is offered. And so that's really refreshing when we work with admin, even in a pandemic, when everyone's making the best of a bad situation. We're still trying to find a way to get to yes and to make things easier and better for people. So
Yeah. And the other thing that's really stood out is that the city of Leduc has become a much more nimble organization. And so that's one of the things that when we first came into office, that we wanted to make sure that we were able to act and react in a very timely fashion. And so I think it's worked out really well. And I think the patio program is a prime example of that, where we're able to make things happen in very short order.
Well, let's hope this weekend at the Relove Market downtown, right? Let's all get out downtown and support our DBA, and let's have some nice weather, and then go visit some patios in the community. So
yeah, sounds good. Okay, Natalie, do you have a question for us?
Yeah, we've got a few. So first one is, it says, I saw a sign across the junior high school about the Alberta government not thinking that it's safe to live in Leduc. Is that true? Do we know who put the sign up, and how much did it cost?
Okay, so interesting. So the signs are up. What's happening right now is that the city of Leduc, that we've been in negotiation now for over a year with the Alberta government. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the airport vicinity protection area legislation changed. And the city of Leduc, we are basically 80% of the city of Leduc is governed by AVPA. So we live under a flight path. And because of the legislation, there's land use that is restricted. And so what's happened here, and the reason you see those signs, is that the landowner there, they purchased 2 lots, and they were hoping to redevelop. And I'm not sure if it's a 4-plex or 8-plex or whatever they want to do, but under the current AVPA restrictions, they're not able to do that. So they're frustrated. We're frustrated. We've been dealing with this for over a year now. We sort of got caught. It started out with Municipal Affairs Minister Madhu. Then he was shuffled to another posting. Then we were dealing with Minister Allard. Unfortunately, she was shuffled on, and now we're dealing with Minister McIver. And so every time that there's been a change at the Alberta government level, it takes us time to re-educate and get the information to them. And so it's been frustrating for us, but we're hoping that we're going to be able to get a solution on AVPA and get the legislation changed so that it allows us to lift some of the restrictions that the city of Leduc has been living under. So hopefully we'll have an answer. We have a meeting with the minister in about 3 weeks, and we're hoping that by the end of May that we will have a resolution on that.
I want to jump in there, Bob, just for a second, because certainly the timing of those signs is timely for us, in that we started our AVPA 101 sort of education process in our social media campaign a few weeks ago. And then that landowner, absolutely, they've got a tough situation, and we've all made business choices, we've all made residential choices. There's some stuff I think in that needs closer examination, but the reality is, the message is that there are limitations and restrictions under the AVPA, and certainly, more people contacting Minister McIver about that doesn't hurt our cause. But the reality is that land isn't worthless. The signs that, it's not worthless land. People shouldn't be afraid to buy property within Leduc, because even under the most strict guidelines, your development is grandfathered in. So in a situation where, you're heavily impacted by AVPA right now, and we're working to change it, you could still do improvements to your house, and you could still rebuild your house. It might not be that you could grow your house very big or turn your single lot or 2 lots into an 8-plex, but the reality is that our planning department is really good with that and knowing about that. And if you have any concerns, you should absolutely be reaching out to our planning department and talking to them about what the restrictions are, doing your due diligence. And certainly that landowner is in a tough spot, and we hope that they'll be able to get some traction, where we're also trying to get traction with changes to the AVPA that will allow Leduc to grow in a more traditional fashion like any other community would.
Yeah. The other thing I mentioned too is that some people have suggested that that by lifting these restrictions, that somehow it's going to impact the 24/7 operation of the airport. Absolutely not true. the city of Leduc, we've always known how important the airport is to the region. It's important to Leduc. The city of Leduc, 60% of the people that live in Leduc work in the Leduc region. And so there isn't anything that we would ever do to restrict the hours or impact negatively the airport. So, you know, the things that we're looking at doing, and when you go back, you know, like they're trying to say, or the argument is that when Leduc grows, and if you put more people under the flight path, there's going to be more complaints. Well, we grew from, since I've been on council, we grew from 13,000 to we're over 33,000. The number of complaints that we had when we were 13,000 was actually more than what we have now. Last year, you know, during COVID, we had 2 complaints. The year before that, we had 4 complaints. The 2 years before that, we had 0 complaints. So people know in the city of Leduc, planes, trains, and automobiles. And so living under a flight path just isn't a problem. And so what we're trying to do is get some of the restrictions lifted. To give you an example, in our North Telford lands, for example, if you want to, you know, we have people that want to, because those are some of the oldest houses in Leduc. So we have homeowners that are looking to add on, you know, build secondary suites so their parents can live with them. And under the current AVPA restrictions, not allowed to do that. And so all we're trying to do is what we think are very reasonable requests. And like I say, we'll be meeting with the minister again in the middle of May. And we think that there's a better than average chance that we're going to get those restrictions lifted. Next question, Natalie.
Yeah, next one is, when will the city open outdoor pools?
Well, hey, I know, because I asked Daryl this the other day. I drove by the outdoor pool, and the Alexander pool has that sign that says, "Thanks for another great season, and we're looking forward to hosting another great season." So my understanding from Daryl in the, I should say, Mr. Melvey, in community development, that plan is May long weekend. So we're really hoping that the spray park and the outdoor pool could be open for May long weekend. And unless I've received other notes about it, that's when we're going to open, weather permitting.
I think you're bang on. And like that, you know, that's one of the questions we have every year with the outdoor pool is, you know, because it depends. If the weather keeps improving the way it is, and we get some really warm weather, there will be lots of people that would like to see the pool open earlier. We know that right now that there are restrictions from Alberta Health Services, but again, as the vaccines start to roll out, we think that a lot of those restrictions are going to get lifted. And you know, so we're planning the May long weekend. If we get super hot weather before that, there'll be a lot of pressure for us to open up early, and you never know what might happen. But right now, the plan is May long weekend. Next question.
Yeah, next one is, can you tell me more about the off-leash friendly area trial and a small dog canine park?
Yeah, so I'll take this one if I may, Mayor Bob. So the canine park is what we call the Leduc Dog Park, and it's basically in Telford Park, pardon me. And we've sectioned off an area at the front of that with a double fence, and that'll be designated as a small dog area. So we're kind of taking that really large park and just sectioning off one portion that could be tried as a small dog area. So that'll be going there. And then the trial area, the new area, is out in Deer Valley, and that'll be won't be fenced. So there's a water amenity. There's residents there that'll be notified. It'll be a trial. It'll go from, I think, July 1 through August 31. So basically the 2 months of the summer. And we need something for the people in the West. The West is how we're growing. And like we talked about, you know, for a lot of reasons, but Crystal Creek certainly out there, and our developments out there are a lot of new growth in that area. And we need to have amenities in the West End, recreation amenities for people, and dog parks make a good fit. So there's 3 dog parks in Leduc. If you're not aware of all 3 of them, there's the Barclay Park, which is in the Leduc Industrial Park, and our business park. And then there's the canine park that I talked about in Telford. And then there's this new trial site in the Deer Valley area. So you should take your dog over there and give it a try. And again, we'll be working with the residents, and it'll be our first experience with sort of that not a fenced area, but a lot of people are already using that area that way. A lot of people are really responsible owners and take a walk with their dog. I know my dog was a maniac when she was off her leash, so I could never do that. I would have to go to the off-leash park, but a lot of people have good control over their dogs, or their dogs have a good relationship with them, and they're able to function in society like regular relationships, where I wasn't able to get there with my dog. So.
Yeah, and we know how important it is during the pandemic to have activities outdoors, because again, we know that the transmission mostly occurs indoors and enclosed areas. And so by having more activities for people to get outside, walking their dogs, walking our trailway, it just makes sense. And we know the pandemic, it's going to be with us for a little while longer. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but this is just another activity that people can enjoy even during the pandemic. Next question.
Yeah, so next one says, I saw a tweet from the city about a lead management program. What is that about? And is our water safe?
Did you want to speak to that, Bill?
You go ahead. You've got it, Bob.
Okay, so I know that whenever people see something like this, that right away they jump to the conclusion that, oh my God, the city of Leduc's pipes are full of lead. And fortunately for us, we're just not that old. Most of our communities were built after 1960. You don't find lead pipes after 1960. So the majority, I'm not even sure if we have any place in Leduc where there are lead pipes. But what happens is the province, they're being very diligent, and they want to make sure that there isn't any lead in the water. And so what they're doing is they're testing the water just to make sure that everything is up to code. And so, people get alarmed when they hear that we're testing for lead. It's not because we think we have lead. It's just another program coming down from the provincial government to make sure that we have safe water. And again, that's one of the things that the Alberta, that, we probably have the safest and best drinking water in North America. So, we get our water from the North Saskatchewan River, and EPCOR does a great job providing that water. Comes to our water commission, they distribute it to everyone in the region, in our area of the region anyways, and they do an excellent job. We do have I would say, the safest and best drinking water in North America.
Yeah, and just to add on to those comments, this program, again, Health Canada is looking for a 50% reduction in lead, which is already small, the allowable amount. So it's good for Health Canada, right, to be keeping track. Leduc's in a really good position with the quality of our water, and this will just be 60. I think they're only doing a survey of 60 individuals, so they're going to contact 60 homeowners, and draw water samples. So it won't even be a community-wide thing. It'll just be you may know someone who gets a call, and it's not a scam. You'll want to give them some of your water and let it get tested. So open your doors, open your taps.
Next question.
Yes, the next one says, I heard the news from Global Edmonton that the city is putting out fire restrictions. Can I have a barbecue in my backyard?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. This one, yeah, and it just makes sense, right? That fire restrictions are in place, but that's open burning. It's not, if you've got a city-approved fire pit, or you've got a barbecue, propane barbecue or natural gas barbecue, if you've got a fire table, if you've got one of those propane heaters in your back patio, absolutely, those are all good to go. If you've got any questions, you can certainly contact our emergency services or the city and get things checked out. But yeah, you're not going to be impacted unless you're doing open burning in the community, and that's really not what this is targeting. This is targeting that's the case. Basic barbecues and heaters are good to go. Enjoy your patio.
And this is just acknowledging that it's been really dry, and so right now it's a very, very high fire risk, and so we're just joining many of the communities in the region in having a fire ban. But if you have a enclosed fire pit, if you have a propane fire pit or barbecue, you don't have to worry. Next question, Natalie.
So next one says, can can we use the skate park this summer? What other outdoor recreation facilities are open now that we can't gather in?
Well, I'll start off and then I'll throw to you, Bob, because
Yep.
I'll say we are going to do some upgrades at the skateboard park, and spread out over the next few years, you're going to see a rehab of that skateboard park. It's a well-used amenity. It's in a great location, and kids love it. And it's certainly, like I say, it's well used. And so we want to keep it in the community. We're going to put some dollars into it, and it's a big concrete structure, and so it needs some work this summer. We're going to try to work around in sections, and we'll try to minimize the impact on the users. But the skateboard park will be available this summer, but there will be some partial closures of it as well. And for other recreation stuff, I'll let Mayor Bob take it away.
Thanks, Bill. So the other thing I'll mention too is that whenever we build a new facility, what we do is we take some of our operating funds and we put them into a reserve fund, so that when it comes time to, because we know that with use at facilities, they need upkeep and need repair. And so what happens is that we have a reserve, and so that we're always, we know that as soon as we build a facility that you have to start putting some money away, so that when it comes time to repair it, the money's there. And so this is just one of those cases. And so, you know, and again, as Councillor Hamilton said, we're going to try and do this in the easiest way to keep people from not being able to use the park. But we have a number of things that especially during COVID. So for example, our Telford Lake multi-way, like it's been absolutely amazing during COVID. You know, when you take a look at the number of people that are using it to walk around. And that's the other thing too, is that really proud of the fact that even during the winter, we clear all our multi-ways. So, you know, I can't imagine what COVID would have been like if we hadn't been able to walk on our multi-ways. And like we have over 80 kilometers of multi-ways in our community, and we keep them clear of snow the whole year. So really happy to see that. The Stone Barn Gardens. So again, visitors can start to enjoy the spring blooms and all the plant life that will be happening there. It's still a little early, still a little cold, but it will be coming. We have the Lady Dog Park, and then also there's Barkley Dog Park that is in our North Business Park. And so there's 50 acres of open space that you can take your dogs out for a walk. So we have our outdoor fitness park, so both at Lady Park and John Bow Field. I always enjoy, like I walk my dog through Fred Johns Park, and it's amazing to see all the people that are taking advantage of the shelter and the barbecue pits there. And so it's you know, it's just really good, you know, during COVID that we're still able to do those activities. We have over 35 playgrounds throughout the city that are open. We have a disc golf course at Fred Johns Park. And amazingly enough, you know, I didn't know a lot about disc golf. I've learned a lot more now. Leduc is actually, we're looking at hosting a national disc golf championship. And so we would be one of three sites. So it would be Edmonton, ourselves, and Wetaskiwin. We're looking like we're going to put a bid in to host a national championship. And so apparently our disc golf course at Fred Johns is one of the better ones in Alberta. So, and that's one thing I've noticed that, again, during COVID, that lots of people are taking advantage of it. And it amazes me. You know, I didn't know much about it, but when you see them going through there, they got their backpacks, they've got like 5 or 6 different frisbees that they use in there. It looks like it is actually a lot of fun. You know, it's something I didn't know much about, but if we end up hosting a national event here, I'll make sure that we get a chance to learn more about that. The nature trails at Lions Community Park are open. And again, it is one of the best investments that we've made in our community. You know, being able to get out and walk and have a chance to enjoy natural settings like that. It's really is a very great facility for us to have in our community, and absolutely love the partnership with the Lions. You know, the Lions do so much in our community. They run the campground. They support a lot of groups. It always amazes me too. You never ever think of Leduc as a place that people would want to camp. But I was walking through there last weekend, and it's I'd say a third full right now. I guess there's a lot of people that working, and so they end up staying there on a regular basis. But it's amazing, and the Lions do a great job, and it is a pretty amazing campground. We also have our trout fishing at the reservoir, so at Fred Johns Park, and so when I was a young lad, we used to fish in there, and that was quite a while ago.
I know that they used to
stock that, and not sure if they still do, but they're fishing in there, so they must be catching something.
I think Rick Sarita stocks.
Other thing that we have is that in Mark Haydock Park, that's in Robinson, we have painted 2 pickleball courts in the rink there. In Blackstone, we've got 2 pickleball courts. We've got 2 basketball keys, including 3-point lines. In Eileen Fowler, so that's the Leduc Lions rink, we have 2 pickleball courts, 2 basketball keys, and including 3-point lines. And it's important for people that are playing pickleball to note that right now we don't support or we don't supply the nets. So the users, they have to bring their own freestanding pickleball nets. We'll take a look there. That might be something that we offer, but presently we don't offer that. At this point, the Kinsman Tennis Court is open for public use. At the LRC, the Aquatic Center, the Fieldhouse, athletic courts, ice rinks are currently available for local household bookings, as well as youth sport group and organization rentals. The outdoor group fitness classes are being offered daily. We have indoor personal training services available, and preschool children's programming is currently being offered as well. The Alex Arena is available for paid use for any youth groups or teams. Our outdoor athletic fields and ball diamonds will be available for youth sport group rentals starting May 1st. As Councillor Hamilton said, the Alex Pool is going to be opening on the May long weekend. The Leduc Boat Club has installed their docks last weekend, and they plan on having rentals, paddle boards, kayaks, and canoes for residents during the upcoming season. A boat launch is available there as well for anybody that has their own equipment that they want to bring in, and so that is right on the east side of Telford Lake, right at the boat club at their facility. And again, as Councillor Hamilton has said, the skateboard park or the skate park is undergoing some renovations, but it will be available as well. It won't be completely shut down during the renovations. And I think that is everything that we have for recreation facilities.
I've got to try pickleball. This is going to be my year to try pickleball because I always love badminton. I like tennis. I've got to try pickleball. As you get older, that's the sport you got to go to, right, Bob? Well, yeah, you're older, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. And Bill, you'll be surprised. It takes a little bit of skill, and it is a great aerobic activity.
No question. I've had residents call me about it and encourage us to do more to get more courts available. So certainly, I guess I should give it a try.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that that's what you're going to see is that we'll probably end up making nets available for those courts. But I know right now that there's pickleball clubs, and so they're providing their own nets. And I mean, it's no charge to go and use them. So another free activity in the city of Leduc.
Yeah, when I play, I want to start without a net. I think it'll be easier to, not hold back. I don't want to hold back with a net. I want to open free play, right?
Yeah. Just don't mess with the pickleballers, Bill. That's all I can tell you.
Pickleball, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, Natalie, you have another question?
Yeah, sure do. So next one says, will the city restore the wetland at Telford Lake?
Yeah, yep. So we've, the wetland, this is on the north side of Telford Lake, kind of as we completed that, the loop around Telford Lake. last year. So you can take the multi-way all the way around. And now we've been able to tap into, I think this is Alberta Environment. There's a grant that we got to help with that. And so we did the planning and the design and the construction last year. Excuse me. And this year we're doing the vegetation planting and getting it kind of ready. So it'll be kind of nestled in there in sort of, I think, which was a drainage area, agricultural kind of drainage area. And this will certainly help with that drainage. It'll be a great opportunity if you're on the multi-way now to really get a good look at kind of a natural wetland. So that's one of the things I love about Leduc is that we don't just, we're not just one thing, right? We're not just business. We're not just, we're not all business here. We really do see we have to integrate with our biodiversity, increase biodiversity, and our efforts through our LEAB board, the Duke Environmental Advisory Board. They're very active in reminding us of our responsibilities and giving us opportunities, and we'd be lost without the LEAB board. So I'm sure they were involved, and certainly our admin team that work in that area bring forward these projects, and then are great for finding resources to help us say yes, get to yes by finding some funding to go along with them. So we're real excited about that. And again, more enhancements, get people on the multi-way, enjoying that loop around Telford Lake. My wife and I haven't walked it, but we've taken our bikes around it a number of times. Went around the barricades before it was open, broke the rules, loved it. So.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And when the wetlands, again, it doesn't look much right now because it's basically black dirt and all that. But when they're finished with it, it's going to be amazing. And, again, it's an opportunity. We're very fortunate that we have a space like that in the city of Leduc. And, it's really amazing that you can just intermingle. It's when you look at the boardwalk, that's the thing that blew me away on the boardwalk is I didn't realize, but because again, we built the boardwalk because we didn't have land that we could put a multi-way around the lake. And so we ended up building the boardwalk, and we didn't realize at the time that we were creating a birder's paradise. And so what's happened now is Leduc has actually become a destination for birders all over Western Canada and the Northwestern states because it allows you to get in their habitat without interfering with their habitat. And so lots of people that come in there to take pictures of I guess we have like 15 different types of ducks in there. And so it's amazing. It's, again, one of those things that we just didn't realize we were doing when we built the boardwalk, but it's turned out to be a real gem in our community. Next question, Natalie.
Yeah, so next one says, Edmonton is promoting e-scooters. Can the city consider bringing in e-scooters for Leduc? And also for e-bikes, are they allowed on the multi-way sidewalks or streets?
Yeah, so I know that the e-bikes are allowed on streets as bicycles are allowed on the streets and on our multi-way. Don't know about the e-scooters. I think I would need to refresh my information on e-scooters and whether an Edmonton company wants to come in. I would think that'd be exciting. E-scooters are not permitted on city streets currently. So I guess we'd have to look into that and get back to this person regarding more information on e-scooters and find out more about what the Edmonton company is offering, because it would mean those e-scooters would end up on our multi-way, I guess. So I can't, does an e-scooter go faster than an e-bike? Is it more dangerous than an e-bike? I don't know.
It all depends on the motor size. And I think so any motor vehicle under 500 watts, which has a top speed of 32 kilometers per hour or less, is not considered to be a motor vehicle. So they're allowed to use the city multi-ways. So it all depends on how big of a vehicle you have. But interesting enough, like the e-scooters, they went back into Edmonton. This is the second year they've been into Edmonton. And actually, I just before last fall, I was down in Calgary for AUMA, and we actually, they took us on a e-scooter trip through downtown Calgary. And so there are companies that are interested in coming to communities like Leduc. Right now, they're just trying to figure out, if we have the mass that it would make it profitable for them to be there. So I know that this year is a very important year for them in Edmonton. They were pretty happy with last year. We'll see how COVID affects it this year, but if they have a good year this year, I would imagine you can expect to see e-scooters coming to Leduc as well. Next question, Natalie.
Yeah, so next one says, I heard that the cost of lumber has gone up a lot, and will that delay the fencing at the Grant MacEwan Boulevard? And also, will there be an impact to my taxes next year?
Well, I'll start off. I'll do this and start off and then throw to you as well, Bob. But certainly what we talked about the other night was the reality of the widening of Grant MacEwan Boulevard, the sound attenuation fence along the side is supposed to be a 10-foot fence. And certainly this is a partnership with all those residents where we're actually stepping on their property of about a foot. And so we want a unified fence. We want to protect them from construction noise now and from road noise later as Grant MacEwan gets wider. So it's important that we work cooperatively, and those and our deal with those residents was a 10-foot high sound attenuation fence. So the option that was presented to us at council the other night was to we can't access these 10-foot posts that are needed to anchor the supports along the way with the fence. The paneling, the lumber in the middle is available and already secured. So the issue is the posts. So we agreed to a cost increase of those posts. Now, I think the way the funding goes, the majority of the widening of Grant MacEwan is paid for through offsite levies, which is developer-funded monies. But the fencing may come into that, and so I'll let Bob talk more about the numbers on the amount that we approved and how that funding would impact the taxpayers.
And again, this has been one of the effects of COVID. Right now, anybody that's trying to do anything out of wood, it's ridiculous. I was watching a show where they were talking about lumberyard, and so a lift of 2x4s that normally they would cost them $30,000 and they would be able to get within a week. Now they're looking at 6 to 8 weeks to get 2x4s, and that lift of 2x4s is now going to cost close to $100,000. So the problem that we had with the fencing here is that the posts that we're looking at wood posts to go in there, and we just can't get them. And so and even if we did get them, if we could find a supplier, it was going to be an increased cost as well. So what we looked at and what we decided to do with council on Monday night is that instead of going with wood posts, we're going to go with metal posts. It means it costs more money. Luckily for us, so again, I talked earlier about the reserves that we have. So we're able to take the cost of the metal posts out of our reserves. And so we don't have to take any tax money this year to cover the cost of that. The other advantage, and even though the metal posts are going to cost us more money, it means that the fence is going to last longer. And so if you had gone with a wood post instead of a metal post, that means you have to replace it sooner. So even though we're spending more money for the metal post, in the long run, it's going to end up saving us money because we won't have to replace them as quickly as we would have with a wood post. And the fact that we can't get them at all right now sort of makes and so we could have waited until next year and pray and hope that we could get them posts next year, but there's no guarantee right now. And so I think council made the right choice in going to metal posts, and this way, and it still won't get done as quickly as if we would have had the wood posts in on a normal year, but it will get done before the end of summer. So
can you imagine we talked
next question
about,
Natalie?
Well, Bob, we talked about earlier the 6-story Telford Mews being the largest 6-story wood structure in Alberta going up. Can you imagine? Hopefully, they would have secured their lumber costs and everything much earlier. But if they were trying to do that construction, start that construction now rather than later, or rather than earlier, I bet there would be a different decision there. So.
And that's a good point. We went on a tour through there about 2 weeks ago, and that's one of the questions we asked them. And what they've done is they knew, or they had a good idea that lumber was going to go crazy. And so what they were able to do is they were able to secure their lumber supplies in advance. And so otherwise they would have the same problems as we do. It would cost them substantially more to build that structure. And so the fact that they knew early that there was going to be an increase, they were able to get the supplies in, and it's I mean, they still had some increases, but they certainly haven't had the increases that are happening right now. But that is it is a good point. Next question, Natalie.
Yeah, next question says, for outdoor bookings like ball diamonds, etc., it was mentioned those would begin on May 1st. This is based on any current health restrictions. Is that correct? That
is correct. And so, and actually, we've actually started before May 1st, letting our diamonds be used. May 1st is the official date, but again, because of the weather conditions, we know that there are groups that wanted to get outside, so they have started using them early. The other thing is with Alberta Health Services, minor groups, they are able to go. We're hoping that as the vaccines roll out and as the restrictions start to be lifted, that there will be an adult season there as well. Right now, it's not allowed, but it won't be. I don't think. The way the vaccines are rolling out, like I really think by the end of May that, and as the Premier said, that they expect that we'll be at the 50% vaccination level by the end of May, and that will allow us to open and lift some of the restrictions. I was really happy to hear, it was either today or yesterday, where the Premier basically said that they weren't going to put more restrictions in place at this time. I know that the rising infection rate is really concerning, but fortunately for us, the hospitalizations in ICU isn't going crazy yet. So if those infection rates, or I mean, if the hospitalizations and ICU numbers, if they don't get silly on us, we should be able to start lifting some of the restrictions.
Well, and even if we proceed with that, there'd still be some protocols in place, right? I mean, it's still, we still need to, as things open up, there are still some limitations with that. So we're not back to normal yet, but we want to get closer and closer to that.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we've made a commitment to our residents, is that as soon as we get the okay from Alberta Health Services, our facilities are ready to go. Yeah. So we spent a lot of time making sure that all the maintenance and everything has been done, and we have our staff ready to go, so that again, the minute they say that we can start doing things in our facilities and some of our athletic facilities, we're ready to go.
Hey, I want to jump in. I need to interrupt because I just got a message from Rick Sarita. We were talking about the trout in the pond for fishing, and so sure enough, Rick says we stock 5,000 rainbow trout every year into the reservoir, and they're 17 centimeters or 6 inches long. So these are good sized little fish, and we make an effort to stock that pond, and hopefully people take advantage of it and go fishing.
I know the pelicans really enjoy the fact that we stock that, so I just hope that they leave some for the fishermen. That's all I hope.
And more importantly is Rick Sarita and his team are out there year after year, continuing these kind of programs. That this is what comes with a long-term dedicated staff, is you get great service and you get great amenities in the community. So
yeah. The interesting thing about the reservoir is that is where they took, when they built the overpass that goes Highway 2 overpass that goes there. So that's where they took the clay to build the overpass. And so the east arm of the reservoir there, in some places it's close to 40 feet deep. And so that's one of the reasons that it actually used to be at one time a trophy fishing lake. I'm not sure if it's still classified that way, but if Rick says that they're still stocking it, then I believe him. But again, that's one of the reasons that it is such a good facility for the fish, is that it has that deeper part to it. Things that you learn from us old time Leduc residents, eh?
Sorry.
Next question, Natalie.
Yeah. So next one says, where can I find more information about construction? I just want something that I can check to know ahead of time before I leave my house in the morning.
Well, that's a good one because this construction map we've got is really good. So if you just go to the front page of our City of Leduc website and click on construction updates, it takes you to a page that shows you a nice little map of Leduc and little icons. Click on them. You can learn about the project. You can see the development. It's a great interactive little map. And then there's also, I think, going to be a construction reporting tool this year where if you see concerns about construction in the community, you can use the tool to basically report that and provide input. So I think this is a wonderful evolution of what we've seen over the years. And I was on that map the other day because my wife works at the high school, and I know there's going to be development along that road, Corinthia, in front of the high school. And so I was taking a look at that to see when it's going to happen. Now it's supposed to happen when students are out, so during the summer, so that won't impact hopefully the high school, but there's lots of projects happening around town, mostly sort of road overlays and construction projects, and that interactive map is a great resource, so we should absolutely be steering people to that.
I really like the way the city is moving forward with sharing information with residents. And so not only with the construction, but you're going to very shortly, if you can't already, see, for example, all the open rental places and buildings in the city of Leduc. And the other thing that you'll be able to see too is building permits. So you'll be able to go onto a map and you'll be able to see all the building permits in Leduc. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to get information and find out what's happening in our community. And so I'm really happy with the way that's gone. And, you know, I know that, you know, I think we're cautious. And I don't, you know, I think sometimes if you move into the technology too soon, that you don't always get the desired result and it costs you a little bit of extra money. And so, you know, I think that we've been sort of looking around, we've seen what we like. And so now we're starting to put those tools on our website and available to our residents. So, you know, again, I think we've done a great job at moving towards making everything more transparent with the City of Leduc.
Well, and just wait as we going forward in the years to come. Certainly, we'll be moving towards more of a smart city concept too, with TELUS coming in and doing their pure fiber build. That's exciting news for our downtown businesses and our business park. Yeah. And as TELUS gets those that infrastructure in place for pure fiber, that's going to be a game changer for our community and certainly for our businesses. And then there's an opportunity for the municipality to tie in on a whole level of smart city opportunities that I know Councillor Finstad's on here and he gets excited about this stuff. Certainly, we've been on a tour down at TELUS years ago, and they show you what's possible. So I think I know that our forward-thinking governance here would be in line to start to look at opportunities for a smart city style concept and try to maximize our partnership with TELUS and initiatives like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring up the TELUS pure fiber, and so they just announced, I think it was about a week and a half ago, that originally the program was just going to cover our downtown and our North Business Park. It turns out now that they're going to do our whole community. So we're very, very fortunate. You know, we're not the first community to get fiber, but we're not the last one either. And it's going to be a game changer for the city. It allows us to start taking a look, for example, at neighborhoods. So if there's a neighborhood that wants to, we can put security cameras on the light posts. We can use the doorbell cameras. There's so many opportunities that we can take a look at if people are willing to do that. I know that we've been talking with TELUS already for our North Business Park and for our downtown areas at putting security cameras up. It's amazing what they can do. The town of Drayton Valley, what they did is they put security cameras up. They have basically two entrances in and out of Drayton Valley, and they put security cameras up there that would identify the license plates on cars, and if they have access to the motor vehicle database. And so if there was a license plate on a car that it wasn't registered to, they knew that it probably was a stolen vehicle. And so they were able to cut down their stolen vehicles in their community by 40% when they went to that program. And so we're going to be taking a look at the same type of initiatives and seeing if there's ways that we can take advantage of the pure fiber to make our community safer. And again, we'll be talking with neighborhoods. If there are neighborhoods out there that are interested in looking at some sort of a security camera for their neighborhood, send us an email or give us a call, and it's something that we will be investigating. Interesting times.
And wider access to potential 5G network in the community as well, right? Yeah.
Next question, Natalie.
Yeah, next question says, the roads in my neighborhood haven't been swept yet. Do we know when sweep will come through Bridgeport?
All the neighborhoods are going to get done. That's our commitment to you. We're going to clean every road in the community at some point. So if you live in South Park like me, you might have to listen to some cleaning for a while, but they will get done. And I'm buying time here to tell you that, no, we're not doing Bridgeport this year. We are absolutely. We're doing it. And it's currently scheduled for sweeping. Bridgeport is listed. It's underway. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's just like snow removal. Like you could actually go on our website to see for snow removal. Like we have a schedule, and what happens is that they go through the neighborhoods, and then the next snowfall, when they go to remove, they go back the other way, so that everybody gets a chance at being the first, and everybody gets a chance at being the last. And so it's frustrating sometimes that we don't get everything done in a timely manner, but we do have a schedule and we will get to it.
And what I find frustrating too in some neighborhoods is they put the signs up, you get ample notice, and then some cars don't get moved. So, if they haven't done your neighborhood yet and the signs are going up, please take that opportunity to move your vehicle, and they'll be there on the day the signs are put up for it, unless there's some unforeseen reason they can't make it. But they're pretty good, like Mayor Bob says, about getting out and doing them. So
and if you make it easy for us, things get done quicker. Next question.
That next question says, if we still can't gather this Canada Day, will we still have fireworks, and will the city live stream the fireworks?
I'll let you take that one, Bob.
Okay, so yes, we are going to right now what we're looking at is we're going to have fireworks. I wish my crystal ball worked better when it comes to events being held during COVID. There's nobody that wants to get back to what we used to do on Canada Day more than our city council. Leduc is known for what we do on Canada Day with the free concerts and all the activities. And it's been a real nobody ever ran for council or became mayor thinking that we would have to shut down these events. And so I'm really hopeful that we're going to be able to do more this Canada Day. But again, we'll find out in the next few weeks what's going to happen with restrictions, and we'll have a better idea. Unfortunately, things like the Canada Day, it takes a lot of planning. And so, we can't go the week or 2 weeks before and throw it together. And so I know right now that we're going to be doing the fireworks, because again, we can do that physically distancing and that. The other events in that I think are still up in the air. We hope that we're going to be able to do a normal Canada Day, but we won't know for a little while longer. And if it goes too long, because again, there is a lot of planning that goes into these events. If it takes, if we don't get any clear indication of what's going to happen, there'll be some things that we just won't be able to do this year. But we will get back to a normal Canada Day, and we can't wait. Next question.
Next question is asking, are there any updates for the 65th Avenue interchange project?
That's an interesting question. So we know that what's happened is the province of Alberta has committed to building the 65th Avenue interchange. What they're hoping to get is there is some Northern Trade Corridor funding that absolutely fits this project. And so what they have done is they put a request into the federal government. As you know, the federal government just passed their budget about a week and a half ago. And so we know there's money in there for the NTCF funding. And so we hope that we're going to find out very shortly whether or not the federal government is going to put some funding into that. The Alberta government is hoping they will. One thing I will say, though, is the Alberta government has committed that even if we don't get federal funding, that this project will go and that we will have pilings in the ground this fall. So I'm very confident that this project is going to go ahead. And you can see, so we just passed, I believe it's 3 weeks ago at council, the 65th Avenue Business Park plans, area structure plan. And so businesses are already anticipating that this interchange will be built, and it is going to mean hundreds of millions of dollars in investment for our community. And not only investment, but that means that there will be jobs. That means that there will be people moving into our community, building houses, buying houses. This is something that will really stimulate our economy. So the Alberta government is very aware of that, and they know that this is something that will help not only us, it will help the airport, it will help Nisku, it will help everybody in this region. So yes, 65th Avenue, and I've been on council for a long time now, and we've been trying to get 65th Avenue done for a very long time. I am very confident that it's going to get done and get started this year.
I'm sitting in the council chambers where I'm doing this call from, and on the wall are the paintings and photographs of past mayors, and I'm looking at John Jackie, George Rogers, Greg Krischke. All of these mayors had a hand in 65th Avenue, yep, and a hope for the future of 65th. So it would be great. It's been wanted for a long time, and certainly it's well needed. And growth at the airport, opening up those lands, great for our community, great for the airport, great for the region. So we've all said we all know, and all levels of government know that it's needed and a great project. So all we need is them to pull the trigger on the money. And like you said, the Alberta government's going to backstop it if the feds don't step up. Hopefully they're not watching this call, because we'd like the feds to kick in that portion.
Yeah. Well, there's rumors of an election coming, so I'm sure that there's going to be some funding coming out this way. And again, when you take a look at the impact this is going to have around the airport and around our region, it's a very, very easy project to fund.
Right. Even politicians point at an election season and say that level of government, they're going to do things just to look good, right?
Yeah. It's an easy win. So
yeah, that's right.
Natalie, next question.
Yeah, you bet. Next question says, there have been a lot of volunteer groups working around cleaning up garbage. Does the city have a program in place throughout the year so that cleanups do not rely solely on volunteers?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I know that we have lots of park staff, casual staff, and I know that they do a great job of tidying up. Whether there's been any concerted efforts at cleanup, I've been involved in concerted efforts for tree planting and different community initiatives, but I haven't been involved in a city organized garbage cleanup. But it's a great idea. If we're not already doing it, we should be. So maybe we can get some more information on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I know in our new areas, in the new residential areas where there's construction, that the responsibility for cleaning up all the garbage that comes from construction, I know that that's responsibility of the builders and of the developers. And but no, this is a good idea. Again, we rely so much on our volunteer groups, and we probably will again. But I don't think it would be a bad initiative for us to look at. So no, this is a good idea.
I should credit our youth council, because last year, the youth council, one of their first events as after they'd formed was a cleanup at the skateboard park. And that was certainly well attended by the youth. And I know a couple of councillors, Councillor Tillich and Councillor Finstad, were out for that. I think Councillor Hanson is a member on the youth council, or a leader on the youth council, and he was involved in that as well. So we have had that. And I know that I've, I mentioned my wife working at the high school. I've certainly mentioned my concern about the parking lot at the high school. I think, certainly when school was in, and I don't want to pick on the kids, but people in the parking lot clearly just drop stuff right on the ground. And I know that the custodial staff at the high school here in town are overworked going out and cleaning up that parking lot, and they do a great job. They shouldn't have to. And really, I've always had a thing about littering, and so I'd like to say that we could be all moving towards a more enlightened future where we know the value of our environment and we don't litter, but the reality is we still rely on, like this person's mentioning, volunteer groups to get out there and clean up. And so certainly good for us to look into, and maybe our youth council will be out doing it again this year. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's certainly something to look at, because I know the other peeve that I have is pet owners. Like it just amazes me when we walk around our multi-way net, the number of people that don't pick up after their pets. Very, very disappointing. So I know that we've been talking with our communications department, and we're going to launch a campaign this spring, but that's another initiative that I think that we need to work on. And I really do believe that it's just it's a matter of educating people. Yeah. And I think that a good education campaign would see amazing results. And it's probably the same thing with litter as well. So this is something that we'll take back to council and see if there aren't some solutions we can come up with.
Well, I can tell you firsthand that we should have Rick Sarita looped in here, because he is he's got the information.
Oh yeah, well of course
his team clean the ditches and the parks. They pick up hundreds of bags of garbage, and that's what the seasonal employees of the parks do. And he said as of May 1st, so they're starting May 1st, and so you will absolutely see the parks workers out there doing it. And thank you for the question. Yeah, and thank you, Rick, for the response. Yeah.
Well, and that makes sense. Like that's one thing, where the city, where we do have challenges, is that until school gets out, like, because again, a lot of our summer students are university students, and until school gets out, we don't have them. And so May 1st, that's when our summer students start. And there's a lot of things that get done once we get our summer staff in there. So it's good that Rick points out, and I mean, he's only ever a text away. So it's
yeah, well, you know what, and it would be interesting how many people would tune in if we could bring forward some of our keen staff. Certainly our council don't mind being the face of the community, but the real info and the real hard work comes from our team. So we'd be happy to. Rick should be Citizen of the Year one year.
Yeah, well, he certainly gets a lot of things done in our community. So
absolutely.
Next question, Natalie.
Next question says, will the city reintroduce the face mask bylaw? There are people who are not gathering, or who are gathering and not wearing masks. I know the weather has warmed outside, but we need to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Yeah, and so we did implement a mask bylaw. I'll start off, Bob, and then you can take over. We implemented a mask bylaw when the province wasn't stepping up, and that was last year, the beginning of the pandemic. The numbers were growing, and we knew that we needed something, and so we put our mask bylaw in place. Since then, the province has instituted province-wide regulations on our mask bylaw. Ours became sort of a moot point, so we dropped our bylaw. Technically, I don't think we rescinded it. I think we've just shelved it. So we could reenact it, but it was set for, it was set when there wasn't a provincial mandate. And so I think that, we're governed by the province now. And I don't know if the province is going to institute certainly in larger gatherings outside, absolutely masks, but I don't see Leduc reinstituting our bylaw anytime soon, as we're all hoping to come out of this. And until then, the province's mask bylaw covers us. So.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Bill. Basically the face mask or face covering is controlled by the province right now. And so we basically, like, as you said, we shelved our bylaw because again, it doesn't take precedence. The provincial, because again, we're under a state of emergency, and so provincial guidelines are the ones that take precedence. The other thing I would mention too is that I think people have had it with COVID, and so you're starting to see that that not everybody is following the regulations. It's very difficult for the province, and it's almost impossible for us to intervene in situations like that. We recommend that people follow the protocols and that, but it's very difficult to enforce a lot of that. So I'm hoping now that with the weather changing and the way that we're going outdoors and stuff like that, that you'll start to see there should be less gatherings indoors, and so we should start to see the infection rate start to go down. So, but it is a concern with the variants that are popping up in our country. It is a concern. I wish we had an answer, but it's very difficult at the municipal level for us to be able to enforce those types of face mask bylaws. Next question, Natalie.
Yeah, so next one says about the hens and bees. What is that program about?
Hey, so that's an interesting one that, again, our LEAB board brought to us as a business case, and I think we approved it last year, end of 2019, going into 2020, and then we shelved it because of the COVID protocols. So it's one that's been hanging around for a while, and it took us a while to get to it, but we did institute the pilot project this year. So we're looking for, the idea was hens and bees, and we were looking for 10 residents that would have 10, up to 10 that could have hens, up to 10 that could have bees. The idea is personal use only, eggs or honey, that you're not running a business, and that they'd be sprinkled around the community. You'd have to get permission from your neighbors. It's kind of on a first come, first served basis. And I think the application process is going on right now. And so people are encouraged to reach out, and if they're interested, I would think if they're immediate neighbors, if you talk to your neighbors before you apply, because they will get spoken to. Right. But our hope is that we can get that pilot project up and running, and it would be great to have in the community. A lot of communities have that, and I know Mayor Young, you go back to the days when there were horses and right?
You joke about that, but we actually did it. A few years ago, we had a person that was keeping a horse in town. So
hey, I know. I lived in North Telford, and there was a horse tied up to the step in North Telford.
That's right.
Right.
But and we're trying to. I know Edmonton. This is their second or third year with the same project. We know how important bees are for pollination, and so talking to some people that have done and kept bees. They really, you don't even know that they're there, and so if there are people that are interested, this is your opportunity to step forward. We're doing it on a test our pilot project right now, and we'll take up to 10 this year. And if it turns out to be successful, it'll become a permanent project with the city of Leduc. But yeah. Next question, Natalie.
Yeah. So next one is asking, what is the collaborative economic development initiative that was announced with other cities in the region last week, and how does it help our community?
I think that's Bob.
That's all you, Bob. That's all you.
So our hope, and it just makes sense. So what's happening is the Edmonton Metro region. So we're 13 municipalities. There's 4 counties. There is 3 towns. There's 5 cities, and then the city of Edmonton. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to market our region together. And so the theory behind collective economic development is that we would basically end up sharing revenue from new tax assessment. So that means it doesn't matter where a new business or a new investment comes into the region, everybody would benefit from that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to pattern ourselves after the Denver model. And so economic Denver, what they've done like the whole state. They're working together, and what they do, you eliminate the competition. So instead of Sherwood Park competing against Leduc or competing against Beaumont or competing against St. Albert, we would all work together to attract new investment to our community or to our region. And what happens then is we would all share in the benefits of that. So it doesn't matter where a new business locates in the region, we would all see economic benefit from that. So, and we've started up a marketing company called Edmonton Global. And what they're doing is they're marketing the Edmonton region to the world. And so we're trying to attract more investment here and create more jobs. And so the CED project, we have 13 municipalities that have signed on it. We're just setting up all the rules and guidelines, and we're taking a look at how we can work together to make our region more competitive, not only in Alberta, but like in the country and in the world. And so we know there's a lot of opportunity here, and we just need to tell our story. And it's very difficult when you start thinking of foreign investment, like who even knows where Edmonton is? Certainly nobody knows where Leduc is. And so by us all working together as a region, we have a much better opportunity to attract new investment.
So, on that, in that vein of marketing our community, and certainly you're right, modeling ourselves after a Metro Denver or, Twin Cities style operation is a great way to go. We are launching that, what's it called, the photo gallery. So photo.leduc.ca. And there's an opportunity where our admin have already put together great photos of our commercial districts and our amenities in the community. And people can upload photos, and you can go there and see photos. And it's a great way to share the beauty of our community with friends and family far away. And certainly part of that marketing approach. I know that Edmonton Global was going to be working on sort of a photo bank, marketing materials, resources for people to turn to, so that site selectors could get a good look at what the community looks like here in the Metro Edmonton region, and get a real sense of how beautiful it is in all these communities. So we're certainly doing our part with this new photo gallery project. So you can find that, or you can connect through the Discover Leduc.ca, and that's another great initiative that is just a way to find out. I was on the discoverleduc.ca website today, checking out restaurants and amenities in the area. It's a wonderful resource. So, as much as we're all wanting to get out there, the reality is we're all on computers all day long too. So take an opportunity and check out some of these websites that are, we're all more adept at running our computers now. We should be surfing around and checking out all the amenities that are available to us online in our community and in our region.
The other interesting thing is, Edmonton International Airport, they have done an amazing job of marketing the airport around the world. And what's happening is that, again, we know how important the airport is to an economic development region. And so Edmonton Global now is starting to work with the airport, and they're starting to look very similar in the way that they market around the world. Unfortunately, the pandemic has really put a wrench into the marketing system. But once we get past the pandemic, I think that you're going to see that Edmonton Global and the region is really going to take off. I think that we're setting ourselves up for success. And, we know how important. You look at Metro Denver, and the airport is extremely important to the economic development of that region. And it's the same thing with the Edmonton Metro region. The airport is key to helping us grow our economic development in the region.
Are there more questions, Natalie?
Yeah.
Sure are, Councillor Hamilton. Thanks for asking.
Are we almost out of time? We must be overtime by now.
Oh, we got a little bit left.
Okay.
So next one says, I want to thank the city for the recovery grant, but the business environment is still really tough. How can the city help promote small businesses, and are there resources or funding that we can access?
Yeah. I know that on the website, again, there's a whole bunch of links to different all the grants that are available, and that Discover Leduc and the Chamber website have links to that. not sure what other ones might be available, Bob, if you've got any.
When we're just actually, this is exciting time. We're working with the University of Alberta, and so what we've done is we noticed at Edmonton, and again, you don't always have to come up with your own ideas. Sometimes it's rob and duplicate. And so what's happened is Edmonton, they have a program for making businesses more competitive digitally in Edmonton. So it's Digital Edmonton, and we're borrowing the same ideas. And so we're doing a digital Leduc. And so what's happening is we're partnering with the University of Alberta, and they're going to provide students that will help businesses with their e-commerce going online. And this is mainly due to the pandemic, but we look at this as this is just the beginning of a partnership with the University of Alberta. We're also looking at other secondary schools, post-secondary schools to see if there are other partnerships that we can do. What the pandemic has really forced us to do, and it's a good thing, is that we are working closer with our Downtown Business Association and with Leduc Chamber. And what we're trying to do is make Leduc one of the best places to own and operate a small business. And so the more that we can work with them and help them become more successful, it makes us a stronger and better community. So we're just rolling out. We don't have all the information yet, but I would think that within the next week and a half, those details will be getting out to our small businesses. And again, it'll be going through the chamber.
And so like those business recovery ones or those business grants where we were basically giving people access to professional accounting services. So we were helping businesses would apply. We would give them a number of hours. They would get basically a grant from the city to tap into professional services to help them seek out all those kind of recovery grants and apply for them. And that was a great resource for businesses. And hopefully this digital Leduc will be the same kind of thing, where I think we've committed initially 40,000 to go after businesses, and then we upped that. And we're also looking for regional partners to help us out with that as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And the other thing where this is good too, because one of the concerns that was raised with us is that some local companies that presently market for digital or helping small businesses become or with their e-commerce and with their digital presence, they were afraid that we're competing against them. What we're actually doing is we're going to actually create more customers for them by having this program. So there are small businesses right now that do not have any type of a digital presence. And so what's going to happen is that through this program, they're going to be able to be introduced to the digital world, to social media, to e-commerce. But once they get on there, they're still going to need help maintaining. And so that means that the companies that we have in our region will actually end up with more customers at the end of this program. So, again, that was one of the concerns, is that, are we competing against local companies? No, actually, in fact, what we're doing is we're going to create more business for them. So it's a win-win for everybody in our region.
And employment for those students.
Yes. And for these students, the other thing this is that like they're getting their training at the University of Alberta. So again, it works for them. It works for us. One of the best things we can do during these times is form partnerships, and then that way you can stretch your dollars out further.
Right. So if you represent a region and you're watching this, and you'd like to partner with us on this project, we're looking for partners on this as well. That's
right. Good point.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll be contacting them too.
Yeah.
Next question, Natalie.
Yeah, I think we've got one more to go.
Okay.
They're asking, the city of Edmonton has started their on-demand transit. Will Leduc do the same? And if so, how can I find more information in advance?
You take this one, Bob.
Great question. So, and I know there's a lot of controversy in Edmonton right now because for the first time in 20 years, they changed their transit schedule. we're really hopeful. We like this transit on demand. I think this is a way that you can get better service with the dollars you have. And, like we get lots of complaints because the traditional way of providing public transit is you have buses on a scheduled route. And so there's a lot of times when there's not a lot of people traveling that those buses are still running down the road and they don't have anybody in them. So you're paying for a driver, you're paying for the vehicle, you're paying for fuel. The transit on demand, it's what it will do is it means that people will be able to make a request, and so then a bus will actually come and pick them up and take them to a central area. So if they're heading into Edmonton, that they'll drop off at a transit spot where they'll be able to catch transit into Edmonton. And so we have lots of more information coming on our transit on demand. I think it's later this month. We'll be discussing it at council, but it is something that we will be rolling out. Again, by having one of the things that this allows us to do is that you'll be able to actually record, and you'll know when and where people are traveling. And so, the more information we get about the people using transit, the better system that we can build to make sure that their needs are being met and we're getting the best use of tax dollars. So we're really excited about where this is going to go. Places like Cochrane and places like Brooks have already instituted a transit on demand. And when I'm talking to the mayors, they have nothing but praise for it. So really excited to see that this is going to roll out in Leduc, and can't wait to see what it looks like.
Hey, if we're getting to that, are we getting to that point for wrap up?
Yeah.
Because I'll just get a couple of quick comments I wanted to get out there. And one of them is I'm very pleased with council's willingness to support admin in the the pool access at the LRC, where, like you said, Bob, we're doing everything we can to get facilities available to people within the restrictions. And one of the great things that I saw was affordable option for families to book the LRC.
Yeah.
And certainly, if I still had kids living at home, I would love to have been able to book that, but my kids live in Edmonton, so it's their loss. But to make it affordable to book the pool for an hour, I thought was just a wonderful thing. And I mentioned I'm on wastewater commission and with regional partners, and there was 2 other councillors from different communities that were calling me and saying, where's your program come from? How are you guys doing it? Because they were looking at instituting similar programs, but at a much higher cost point. So we're certainly we're subsidizing that, but that's a great opportunity for families to have an affordable treat in the community, and I think it's just a wonderful thing. So there's so many great examples of where we've stepped up. I know that before our focus on recreation and youth, we were rolling out programs for grade 8 students and for junior high kids before the pandemic, and our focus on seniors and access to recreation services in the early part of our term. Those programs are still there. We've instituted them. They'll be back as soon as the facilities are open and running. Those programs will be back as well. So I'm really excited about the future, and our, the positive attitude we've maintained through the pandemic, I think is going to serve us really well when we come out of the pandemic.
Yeah. Those are great points, Bill. And again, I'm really proud as well. When you take a look at how tough the pandemic has been on families, I wish, and it just doesn't make sense to me that we couldn't put like 3 or 4 families in the pool at one time, but Alberta Health Services just aren't willing to let that happen right now. Nothing we can do about it, but I am very proud of the fact that we're making it affordable for families to be able to use our facilities. And I know that there's way more demand than there is supply, but as soon as we can open up our facilities so more people can use it, we will do it. And we are committed to making sure that we support healthy, active lifestyles. We want to make sure that there aren't any barriers to being able to use our facilities. And that's again, one of the priorities that we've had in this council is that we know that there's a value to getting people and keeping people active, seniors, kids, adults, and it's going to pay off in the long run for healthcare and for our community. So I think that's one of the reasons that we're shaping up this year, that we're going to have a really good healthy growth with housing. And I think that one of the reasons is that people are realizing that Leduc is a great place to raise a family. And, again, people are coming here because they know that it's affordable. When you take a look at the programs that we offer our kids, I think that we probably are the most affordable in the region. And again, I hope that council, we keep that up. So is that it for tonight, Natalie? No more questions?
That's it.
Well, thank you, everybody. Again, appreciate it. I actually really enjoyed having Bill here as well. It's nice to have somebody sharing the load and get some more perspective on this. And we'll be doing this again.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope that my council colleagues will all take advantage of this opportunity. Thanks to Natalie for helping us out tonight, and thanks for Alice for organizing from our communications department, and Hal, who is here in the building. God forbid something break down, we've got tech services available, and certainly for our admin support with Rick, and I had our city manager texting me as well, along with friend Ann Christensen texting in saying she's watching too. So anyways, thanks to everybody who tuned in, and it was a great opportunity and fun to be here.
Yeah, and that's how bad it was, Bill. I put my cell phone away, so I got a bunch of texts that I haven't even looked at. So,
well, and this is going to be put up on our website. Alice just texted me and said it'll be up on our website shortly, so you can go back and play and skip all the Bob portions and just tune in for the Bill portions, or skip both of us and just watch Natalie.
And that's a good thing here, is that it's recorded, and so people will be able to get information from it. So there's a lot of great information out there tonight, and we're heading into a really busy season with the city of Leduc, and there's lots of things happening. So the more we can do this, we need to share information as much as possible. So thank you, everyone. Thanks, Natalie. Thanks everybody that made this happen, and thanks, Bill. And we'll see you next time.